Now let's look at the assessment of President Tinubu's 7 months in office, just over 7 months now, and other issues surrounding this particular administration. APC chieftain in Benue State, Daniel Onjeh, joins me on the program. He joins us from Abuja. Good to have you join us.
Thank you so much.
So Nigerians have a lot to say concerning this administration. There are those who think, look, this administration is doing well. For some people, well, not so well, depending on how much they have to eat in a day. But what's your overview of the 7 month plus of the president in office?
Well, indeed, the president took over the leadership of the country at a very, very trying and challenging moment. At a point where the global economic downturn also are taking a toll on economies of nations around the world. Nigeria is one of the countries that was hit. The country was not going to survive any further with the continuation of certain policies, particularly the fuel subsidy regime. So, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took the bulls by the horns by removing the fuel subsidy so that at least he can give a lifeline to the economy of the nation. So, by that singular act, he has demonstrated his commitment and resolution to move the nation forward and take governance back to the people. Because hitherto, we all know, only a few people were benefiting from the subsidy regime at the expense of the entire Nigerians. But Mr. President has been able to take that back. And from the budget he presented, which had been signed into law, we know that it holds a lot of promises. And Nigerians should expect a very rapid and accelerated development. But in answering your question straight ahead, for the few months he's been in office, he's been running the country on the previous budget. So we must commend him because very obviously there's air of certainty in terms of direction of governance in the country. Very recently, the decision also, another bold step he took to show that there are no sacred cows, any sacred cows in his government, by suspending the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs over the allegation of corruption so that proper probe can be done or look into the situation is quite a commendable one. That has earned him the confidence of Nigerians the more, and also the trust.
And I was just going to get to that confidence. Mr. Onjeh, just allow me button a bit. I was going to get to that confidence, of Nigerians. It depends on, again, like I said earlier, how well you are able to feed yourself. But the president about 2 days ago reduced the number of people that he and his appointees can have in their entourage when traveling, either within the country or outside of the country. How well do you think that the president has fared in his bid to rebuild public trust?
Well, Mr. President's approval rating has soared since the inception of his administration by the decisions he's taken thus far. When he removed the fuel subsidy, he understood clearly the attendant hardship and difficulties that Nigerians will be confronted with. And he immediately put measures in place to cushion the attendant effects of this subsidy removal by releasing funds and materials to the states government, and also to members of the National Assembly, so that the very impoverished people and the poorest of the poor in the rural areas can at least have something to eat. And also, that is another step in the right direction. And there are several other social interventions, of course, we can begin to mention for want of time. So, this twin approach in its policy direction is commendable and also applaudable, because there was no better time than when the fuel subsidy was removed for Nigerians. We need to draw and put together all the resources in the country to advance our infrastructure, strengthen our institutions of governance in order to move the nation forward and chart a new course for Nigerians. And that is exactly what Mr. President has done. And Nigerians are very hopeful and confident that this year is going to mark the beginning of a new Nigeria. Because the budget which Mr. President conscientiously presented to the National Assembly and passed and also approved and signed into law by him, like I said earlier, holds a lot of promises. And with the steps he's taken so far to show his zero tolerance for corruption, it means that he's going to put an eagle eyes on the ministries, agencies, and departments that are relevant to all the aspects of our national development to ensure that this budget is implemented to the hilt, so that Nigerians can for once feel the impact of real governance. I'm very, very confident that Mr. President has that capacity to deliver. We've seen what is done in Lagos. Needless to go over it. It's known to Nigerians. And we all want a replica of the Lagos experience in all the nooks and crannies of this country. Mr. President has shown his ability and commitment to take governance down to the doorsteps of Nigerians.
And Mr. Onjeh, again, I want to come in because you talked about palliatives, and I will get to the conversation of palliatives in just a moment. But you also mentioned that the president's approval rating has increased or risen. By what metric did you measure that approval rating, and amongst whom has that approval rating improved?
Well, one of these is the remark, very positive remark and commendation made by the former PDP presidential spokesperson. I think a fortnight ago, I was on a national TV on an interview, and we were both brought together on a different side of divide on this very subject, the review of the achievements or the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu thus far. I was speaking along this line, but he had his own views and opinion over the progress or about the progress of this administration. I'm glad that my brother and senior comrade Daniel Bwala got convinced by the arguments which I presented on that day, and he's coming back home gradually. That commendation for me means a lot for the president, means a lot for the government in general, and means a lot for Nigerians, because that is a very, very patriotic step taken by Danebwala. That is how all Nigerians should behave or act. As soon as politics are over, our concern should be how to move the nation forward. And that can only be achieved through acts of patriotism. And that is what Danebwala has demonstrated. I think that is one evidence to show that the approval rating of Mr. President has soared. Because otherwise, or contrarily, Danebwala wouldn't have visited Mr. President or gone to commend him about his achievement thus far. The fact that the presidential spokesperson of a major political party, has come to terms with the reality of the Tinubus administration or governance. I think with the Tinubu-led government is home and dry, and can rest assured that with this support, I will refer to humongous support, that Nigerians are indeed with his administration and are willing to exercise the patience that he has called on Nigerians to demonstrate. And
well, Mr. Onjeh, I don't know how many Nigerians. I don't know how many Nigerians Danebwala speaks for, because a lot of people will also consider him as one of the elite. But I wanted to get to the issue of palliatives. The controversy around whether or not federal lawmakers were given palliatives for their constituents is one that is leaving many Nigerians confused. For some people, we've had lawmakers say, we didn't get money, we only got palliatives. Some other lawmakers also sound as though they did not get anything at all. Can you clarify the true situation of things?
All right, in doing that, just very quickly to mention, we know we have influencers in the society, we have opinion molders in the society. So to say that somebody in the category of Danebwala does not really, it would not be totally correct, because he represents the voice of a major opposition party. So he speaks for the opposition party. And none of them has controverted the arguments he has held on their behalf, or the brief on their behalf. So if such a person is crossing over at this very material and crucial time in the annals of our struggle to wriggle our way out of the social, political, and economic quagmire we've been engulfed or immersed on, I think it's worth appreciating. So just to mention that. And then also, regarding the palliatives you mentioned, yes, there have been arguments, here and there about whether it was funds that was released to the lawmakers or materials palliative materials to deliver to the people. Whichever way, I would like to dwell along the line of the ones they've accepted. I heard from the introductory part of this program where you read or quote the chairman House Committee on Media, denying the receipt of money from the federal government, but rather food items. So I'll dwell on the food items. I was a senatorial candidate in Benue South, so at least I'm in touch with people at the grassroots, and I know exactly what the feelings of the people are. While we engaged with Danebwala a fortnight ago, his concern, even though he didn't totally condemn the policy of subsidy removal, but he said it was ill-timed, and he said certain things needed to have been put in place, like the palliative measures, social interventions, to cushion the effects of these attendant hardship and to ameliorate the suffering of the people. I totally agreed with him, and I also say I feel the pains of Nigerians, not like I don't know about it. I know I'm also feeling the pain too. But I was quick to remind him that Mr. President haven't done his best to ensure that these logistics are provided to cushion the effects of the subsidy removal. What else is left or expected of him to do? Because the governors who got the funds in the first place, before he also reached out to the lawmakers, quite a number of them probably didn't understand the policy direction of the Tinubu administration. So from several ways or things I saw, they were trying to introduce as a measure to, or a palliative measure, were to me like misplacement of priority. So they didn't quite get the policy direction. But also a good number of them did what was right. But the lawmakers, I am really, really disappointed in some of them. I wouldn't want to generalize because I didn't follow up to see exactly what was done in other areas. But for my own area particularly, the Benue South, I can talk about that. For instance, in Otukpo local government, we have 13 council wards. And then there are 2 local governments in that federal constituency. In Ohimini, we have 10 council wards, making a total of 23 council wards for Otukpo and Ohimini local government, federal constituency. Going by the revelation by the Federal House of Reps member representing the ESACO in Edo State of delivery or receipts of 4 trailers of rice and totaling to 2,400 for the House of Representatives. I want to believe that it was done generally and not selective, meaning
so
that
basically it is some of the
meaning that all the lawmakers got the same quantity of rice that was supplied during the altitude last Yeltide, which means that for the Otukpo Imini, if you share 2,400 bags of rice to 23 council wards, you will be having well over 130 bags of rice or more for every council ward. And that will have gone a long way.
So
how many people, or what is the population size?
Because it will seem as though, just to follow up on what you said about the governors, that some of the lawmakers are also not getting or following the policy direction of the president concerning this palliative.
Yes, it appears they hoarded the rice, and some of them maybe are keeping it, like we witnessed during the pandemic.
The pandemic as well. We'll see how the presidency responds to all of this, because again, it is the policy direction of the president. Thank you so much for your time. The APC chieftain in Benue State, Daniel Onjeh, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.